Hey, welcome to One Word Today. I'm Sophie, your co-pilot or pilot, depending on how you view it, into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue on our journey of learning just one Chinese expression a day. Yesterday, we will talk about a golden advice for a ruler after wartime: give people a break, let them grow and generate wealth or generate enough people for you to tax on it. Before you tax on it. So that's the kind of policy, 休养生息. Today, we're going to continue with 生. So we have been talking about life or live or livelihood in multiple iterations. And you see the same character used with pairing with other characters in different phrases, kind of slightly different. It's very versatile. So here is the fourth interpretation or iteration of the same character, but it carry, like in this context, it's going to be translated differently. 生性鲁莽. Okay, 生性鲁莽. It depicts a type of personality or behavioral traits. 生, in English, we're talking about born this way. So that's the kind of born implication here. Like this was the original setting when your X work X work in global supply chain term is X the factory, exceeding the factory original setting. There's no change, original form. And then you could add packaging or whatever distribution on top of that. That's value added to the original X work. It's the lowest cost form. And then the shipping, the packaging, everything else added to that. So X work is the born this way. Like if human as a product of our parents or generic settings of our like nature controlled, if it's only nature, no nurture, that's the born this way. You know what that means. And 生性, 性, it's like that with the heart symbol on the left. This is the iteration of the rendering of the heart symbol, which is like a cavity with 3 tubes going out. And when it's put sideways, it's going to be naturally squished spatially on the horizontal dimension. And sheng is some plant. This is our plant symbol, and from the earth. So with the root still, planted. So it's something living still. So when you're living and you're following your heart, that's your nature. That's your original setting nature. So born nature, that 生性, born nature. That makes sense, right? That's your first layer. That's your original setting. And 鲁莽, okay, so this depicts, well, not really preferred traits, behavioral traits. 鲁, even if it now translated as dull, but the original meaning was actually delicious. So the top portion means a fish. I mean, this fish looks pretty complicated. So actually it got some scales, right? It got this, the fish, I guess the fish mouth portion, and then these are the tails. So this is a visual representation of the fish itself. And then the bottom could be viewed as a container, or could be a mouth, like with something already in it. Maybe already took one bite. Excuse me, sorry for the noise. One bite of the fish. So it's tasting of the fish. Originally, it actually means it tastes good. So I don't know what happened along the history, why something tastes good became the meaning of dull. But the meaning we inherit that means dull, it's the opposite of something sharp. Okay, so in that sense, like sharp in English also means something intelligent, somebody quick, right? And 鲁 is the opposite of that. It's something dull, almost like not sharp-edged, but dull-edged. So something is not really cutting quick. So that's the sense of 鲁. 莽, okay, came from this. And we see here, this is a plant, right? In its simple form, it's like now it's like 4 of them placed together. So it's a pretty dense, either it could be bushes, right? Or it could be crops or fields. In any case, this is like, you can imagine a big field of something growing in there that's plant-based. And then this is dog character. I see it like vertically placed the dog sideways structure. This is the dog ears and the nozzle and then the legs. That's how I visualize it. So the dog is running in the field. That's the origin of this character. And this was meant to be like the dog was chasing some, I don't know, some its prey, right? So the dog was preying on something, running wild. So it's doing its nature-driven thing, behavior, right? Catch its own food, basically. And so this character eventually just means, okay, if you put the dog in the wilderness, this is what's going to happen. It's going to prey for its own food, hunt for its own food. And that's the kind of wilderness or wild. That's the the animal nature, the animal, dog-based animal nature observed. So if we put it on a human, right, born nature, if they are dull, like originally delicious, but somehow not sharp, but dull, and wild means they are really following their animal instinct, then that I translate as naturally reckless. They're basically were low filter of self-checked behavior. So they are going to let out whatever their naturally embedded generic traits. Like if they are going angry at something, they're going to blow up like immediately. And if they want to chase down something, they're going to be just like that dog hunting for the food or whatever. It's more animal-like behavior. And that's the kind of reckless that I was talking about. So over here, I actually put the opposite meaning because it's really hard to capture something 生性鲁莽 visually. But here I put a very elegant, very trained, poised dancer image. That's a rendering, very stylized rendering of a dancer in this full costume, everything color coordinated. So this is the opposite of 生性. So this is definitely not naturally born this way. This is through training and through packaging, and then somebody rendering, like we're already several layers before we see this image. This is by no ways its original X work setting. So for dancer, to form a certain image, a figure, and you have to train your muscles to be able to do things visually pleasing for the audience and have a very good spatial sense and dance with the music, like all of that, our cultivation, our nurture, our anti-nature is, or like all of these are, you have the nature in there, right? You have the physics, the body, the muscles, bones, and the natural beauty in there, but have to be through training, years and years of training and repetition to reach a certain level of presentation, final presentation we see like that. So it's the opposite of naturally reckless. If this is like naturally with some traits and then plus like nurtured through training systematically, and then you get the result like this we see here. Okay, so sometimes I illustrate by the opposite meaning. Hope that makes sense. Forms a contrast of naturally reckless. Just imagine how a naturally reckless person would dance, like no discipline involved. Like it's not going to be visually pleasant at all. So this is the opposite of that. Okay, cash into the currency of thinking by one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.